Okay, what's going on, guys? The draft of the 2017 EuropeCom program has been released, and that's it. You know, I've been a big fan of EuropeCom. I've been to most of them. I think I missed one maybe in 2014. But I think it's a great learning opportunity. It's a great networking event. It's in Brussels, so you get, a bit of a vibe of what the city is like, of what the political institutional communication is like, what the PR business, the press business, somehow the creative industry business is like. But I want to make this video because since I'm a big fan of the event, I think it could use some improvement. And what I'm gonna say is totally debatable, and I welcome the organizers to give me some feedback on what I'm gonna say, and I welcome anybody in the communication sphere in Brussels to throw some recommendations. If you agree, if you don't agree, I'm happy to spark some debate on this page. This is the whole purpose of the page. And now I'm also making this video because over the past few editions I think the event was a bit boring. Yeah, I said it. The variety of the speakers is always the same. The type of speakers is kind of always the same, and so is the type of attendees. People from the institutions or communication agencies. So, we'd always talk about breaking silos, which is also, as I read here in the program, part of the event, breaking silos, getting out of the bubble. Still, the people that come to EuropeCom are people from the bubble or from the governmental authorities, institutional bubbles around Europe. So that doesn't really work. We're not really getting out of the bubble. And I'm prepared for recommendation. By the way, hashtag EuropeCom. Sorry for my handwriting. I just put this up at the airport a few hours ago. And a couple of things I want to focus on. So this is my advice. Take it as it is. Now, first of all, some practical things. Brussels is depicted often as grey, bureaucratic, non-creative city where people just try to, do politics, and they're not human and they're not emotional. Right, if you want to try to change that opinion, this leaflet will not help you. A grey and blue leaflet with some kind of abstract logo. I mean, you can interpret it as some kind of inspiration by Joan Miró, but no. This cover looks like a policy brief from an international organization, or it looks like a working paper of a Brussels-based or Washington-based think tank. In an era where we're currently doing this all the time, how can you make people stop on this? How can you make people read more when they see this? It looks very dry. Next year, my recommendation: work on a more visually appealing promotional material. Grey and blue, maybe it's good for suits. In Italy, it's very fashionable right now. Blue marine, light grey, not for content that you want to share, especially on social media, because most of the promo is going to be done there. Now, avoid, secondly, self-complacent language. It is so Brussels, and I mean, I'm not trying to say that but it is very Brussels. That's just the way I think. I'm just reading here, I took some notes, and if you go through the program, which is very long, I think the introduction is a bit too long, but I mean, that's my opinion. And I read here in the program, there will be high-level speakers. This is something I read all the time. What is a high-level speaker? Is it a grade? Is it how do you become a high-level speaker? How about you actually tell what kind of speakers are going to be? You will see speakers from the creative industry, from the arts industry, from the institutional business, from government. But what is a high-level speaker? I don't know. Could you explain? But secondly, in the introduction, there will be an inspirational keynote speech. You already assume that people will be inspired by the keynote speech. I mean, how self-complacent is that? And also, you say, I see, between parentheses, TEDx style. Not because you do something TEDx style. By the way, now I see it's very common to misunderstand what a TEDx style talk is. I mean, now everybody that talks on their own on a stage is a TEDx style talk. It's not the case. I'll get more into that maybe in another video, but TEDx style is old. It's something, it's something very 2008. I love TEDx, I love their model, I love what they do. I even had a great interview with the organizer of TEDx Brussels. Not necessarily it is the newest trend. And if you think you're going to be disruptive by putting up a TEDx style talk, which is supposedly going to inspire people, I don't think you're breaking silos. I think you're shrinking the silo into something even smaller and constraining. Having said that, I think there are some good ideas, some interesting sessions. There is this one about breaking silos. There is this one about getting out of the bubble. And I'm looking forward to seeing them because I don't think it's happening. And it's not about EuropeCom, it's about many other things that happen in Brussels in the communication business. Now, the program is quite good. I mean, it does take into account the recent crazy elections in Europe and around the world. And I really hope that it will be up to the task. I'm a big fan of the event, and this is why I'm making this video. Now, I was waiting at Milan airport a few hours ago. I put up some recommendations, which you can find here. Firstly, by the way, hashtag EuropeCom only. You can follow them on Facebook and Twitter. Firstly, more variety of speakers. More variety of speakers. Get not only the managers of local authorities' communication activities, of institutions, of communication agencies in Brussels and in London. Get some crazy people. Get the Instagrammers community. People now are more informed about what's going on in cities via Instagram and blogs, instead of the websites of the tourism agencies of these cities. Get the Instagrammer communities, get the Snapchat community, get the blogging community of these cities. You want to break silos and you want to get closer to the citizens. Well, that's how citizens get their information, not via the websites or the institutions. So more variety of speakers. Get people that have, that have a love, that have a deep passion for what they do and a deep love for the town they live in. These are the people you need to talk to, and these are the people that staff working in communication institutions need to learn from. Secondly, I don't see in the program anything about influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is everything in 2017 and is going to be the same in 2018 and 2019. Now, I hope this is not going to be, again, a trend that institutions worldwide at the European level will pick up when it's too late, when it's already old stuff. Now, put something in the program about influencer marketing. If we get to learn 10% of how people doing influencer marketing, if we get to learn a bit of how influencer marketing works and how we can apply those theories into institutional communication and European communication, that would be a groundbreaking event. That would be something that we're gonna bring home after witnessing this speech at the conference. Thirdly, something I love to stress because it kind of never happens, and it kind of fits my argument about self-complacency in the bubble. Get uncomfortable speakers. Get somebody who managed the Brexit campaign, somebody who managed the Trump campaign, somebody who worked for Marine Le Pen, somebody who works in the pharmaceutical, in the oil business. Get uncomfortable speakers. The Brussels conferences about PR, digital communication, are always with the same people. people that always work on good causes. My opinion, you know. People always work on good causes, but as we have seen, due to this self-complacency, in my opinion, good causes have lost over the past 2 years. And how can we be better? How can these people advocating for good causes be better? Is to confront their communication style, their strategies with people that won, even though they work for bad causes. That would be an interesting debate. See how the Brexiteers manage to do what they have achieved. And, you know, it's not about endorsing their ideas, it's about confronting communication strategies. The bubble, the Euro bubble, is still so, reluctant to do this kind of activities. It would be very formative and groundbreaking. Fourth, for once, get some real influencers. Bloggers with a few thousand followers that talk about institutional topics, or maybe they have written a book once, or they've given a couple of talks in the US about motivation, inspiration, journalism. They're not influencers. Real influencers are people like somebody that gets 100,000, a 17-year-old that gets 100,000 followers on Musical.ly, somebody that is an early adopter of Snapchat, and now he has a considerable followership. Somebody who has 100,000 or 1 million followers on Instagram. Learn from people that are actually successful, not from people who have achieved mediocre success, but just because they talk about institutions, they are considered as influencers in the business. You organize an event, a conference on communication to learn something. Real influencers can teach you that. This is my advice. This is my, let's say, 4 pieces of advice. And I welcome the organizers, to come back to me and tell me otherwise, and tell me that they're planning to do so. It'd be interesting, since it is a communication conference, let's bring up the debate online. This is the whole purpose of this page. One more point on real influencers is that even though EuropeCon kind of gets, I think, around 2,000 participants every year, the buzz during the event and ahead of the event is pretty poor. You have 2,000 comms professionals gathered in one place. I mean, the buzz should be huge. Absolutely. Like the Twitter, I mean, I understand, EuropeCon was trending on Twitter, but in Belgium, I mean, it's the visibility of the event is mediocre so far, considering the potentials, not in absolute terms. Get some real influencers to bring up this visibility. I also welcome anybody in the comms business and beyond to give me some feedback on what I just said, and to throw some recommendations for the upcoming and the next editions of EuropeCon. I think this is how events can grow. This is how organization can be better, and this is how we can all learn together from different communication techniques and ideas. This is it for today. Stay tuned for more videos and for more articles. I hope I'm gonna catch up after my trip in the USA on some blogging. Stay tuned and don't hesitate to flag me topics you want to talk about. Have an awesome Sunday. See you later.